Hey, what's happening, peeps? Willie here at the Great Outdoors. That's right here at the Great Outdoors on a good Saturday morning at 20 minutes after 7, where we have a hurricane down south that's causing humidity, high winds, and the possibility of rain bands. Now, I don't know what's going on with Mother Nature. I think maybe she's just working hard during the week to keep the rain off of us so we can get our workday done, and then on Saturday she takes a break and just lets the hurricane go. Let this. So then everybody who was looking forward to their weekend to be able to get outside and do something has to sit and look out the window. Anyway, what I had planned was a little bit of fishing, a little fishing trip, but where I would have been heading, we'd have been driving right into it. We'd have been driving right into it. And I'm just going to have to wait on that, because I don't know about you, but when it's hot and humid, having to wear rain gear, well, you end up just as wet inside your rain gear as you do on the outside if you just didn't wear the rain gear. And I don't know about you, but wet socks and underwear are just not fun. There's nothing fun about them. Yeah, it might have been fun and cool and laughable when you were younger, but when you get old like me, older, it's not. It's not fun. So what we're doing today is we're actually going to go somewhere that I don't really want to go. And I say I don't want to go because it has to do with the area that it's in, not the place I want to go. Places. There's an area across the creek over here where you have to drive through a tunnel in Virginia Beach in Norfolk. Now, I don't know if you live where there's tunnels, and I mean elongated tunnels that go under the ocean or under anything, or through a mountain, whatever. There's something about a tunnel that just causes people to panic. I don't know what it is. They can go 105 miles an hour down the interstate, weaving in and out of the traffic like they're the old Fast and Furious, but when they get to the mouth of that tunnel, suddenly they go to 14 miles an hour, causing the entire domino theory of traffic to come back, and you're 17 miles from the mouth of the tunnel, running 2 miles an hour, until you get to the tunnel, or you go through the tunnel at 7 miles an hour. Coming out of the tunnel, everybody takes off like they just dropped the green flag. Okay, the lanes inside the tunnel are the same width as the lanes you're driving in on the interstate. There's no reason for you to drop down to 7 miles an hour. If you're that terrified, stop going through the tunnel. Just quit. Stop it. Maybe buy a jet ski or something and leave it on this side, and then pull your car off the side of the road, get on your jet ski and go across the water and get into another car on that side and call an Uber or something. But stop messing it up for everybody else. Where are we going over there today? 2 antique stores that I have not been to in quite some time. And both of these stores I have managed to find some pretty decent stuff in. Now we're talking antique stores, so sometimes you'll pick something up and look at the price and laugh. Sometimes you'll pick up the thing, look at the price, and you'll gasp, and you'll put it in your little basket and take it back to the register with you. Or you won't find anything. But I haven't been to either one of these since winter of last year. So hopefully their inventory has done a little, some stuff came in. I might have missed a few things, not going all winter. But I think I'm the only person that buys all the old fishing stuff. That's sad. Or is it? Could be good for me. It's bad for this room, but it's good for me. The other place I want to go, well, that's kind of a whole different story. Has nothing to do with fishing. We all know, or most of us who know, watch the channel, know that I have 2 2020 Honda Monkeys. That I love riding these things, and I really enjoy them. Now, if you have paid attention for quite some time now, you also know that I have a 2022 Royal Enfield Himalayan motorcycle. Now, I don't ride that much, and you don't see it on video very often, mainly because, well, me and that bike just have not meshed at all. We just don't get along. I mean, He's okay, I'm okay, we're okay with each other, but we just don't hang out in the same circles. We're just not that group. We don't hang out. You know, it's just sometimes when it comes to motorcycles and things, sometimes you just don't. You just don't. And we don't. Why, you might ask? Well, let's just first say that the mechanical ability of the Royal Enfield Himalayan is perfectly fine. It does everything that it's supposed to do and everything that's asked of it, mechanically. But it's a mid-size bike, small to mid-size bike, that carries a lot of weight. It's pretty heavy. For a smaller bike, it's 440 pounds just about, really, unloaded with nothing on it. Well, then I start putting fishing equipment, fishing rods, food, whatever, and of course, that bike starts going up in poundage. So what I'm looking at is getting rid of the Himalayan, and I'm looking at something else. Smaller, less weight, same engine as the Monkey, but a little bit different setup, a little taller. The CT 125 or Trail 125. It's a 2022 that's never been sold. It's at a dealership. Am I tickled to death with dealerships? No, but I talked to this gentleman on the phone. He was very upfront, very straightforward with me, and I'm at least going to go by and take a look at the bike. The only downfall is I do have to get rid of the Himalayan to get it. So we're at least going to go look at it. That's what's today going to be. That's what, we got things on the schedule. We have agendas, and that's what we're going to do. So anyway, 2.5 hours before any of these places open. That's the disadvantage to getting up so early. Being an early bird is that nobody else opens up when you just need people to be there. You want to call ahead and go, hey, I'm up. Can y'all guys open the doors, please? I'm awake. I've got 2.5 hours to sit around and do something now. All right, we're here. And no one was harmed in the driving or filming of this particular section. So that's good. Traffic still was terrible, but we made it. You've seen this place before. It is the Barrett's Antique Mall, so I'm not going to worry about dragging you through all of it, because when I go into an antique store, I am a scanner. I walk fast, I scan, I get out. So no need for a camera when I'm in there running 105 miles an hour. So I'll be right back. Find anything, I'll let you see it when I get back. Hey, I'm back. Now, I'm not going to tell you that they didn't have anything in there that I probably wouldn't have bought had it been cheaper, because they did have a couple of things. They had a UL4 Classic trigger reel, which is rare. You don't find those very often, and it did function, but not very well. And his little sign that he had up there said, all reels are oiled and cleaned. Well, it didn't reel very good. It was very tight, so it's been a long time since it's seen any oil, I can guarantee you that. Or something's wrong inside. Problem was, he wanted $19 for it. It was in okay shape, but had a lot of slop in the gearing and stuff like that. So to me, that's not a $19 reel. That's more about a $10 to $12 reel. Also, he had a Johnson Century Deluxe. Very rare to find one of those. I've never actually come across one inside anywhere, but he had it on a rod. It was Chinese, and he wanted $35 for it. The rod was basic. The foam was deteriorating and all that stuff where the reel seat was, and that reel being Chinese and having the tendency to break, it's not worth $35. So unfortunately, both of those had to stay there. I did find out some information about this particular spot here. The gentleman that does sell all those fishing reels, he comes in occasions and walks through all of the vendors himself, even though he is a vendor. And if some of the vendors have stuff that's on sale or has it, it's cheap, he buys it, cleans it up, puts it out there, and jacks the price up. That makes it hard on people like you and I who are looking for a decent deal. Great for him, but unfortunately that means that stuff will sit there for a long time before anybody ever comes in to buy it. Anybody who knows these things, who knows these reels, is going to know what they're worth, or they're going to get on their phone and look it up and find out, which means it's going to sit there. So I'm more about turnaround. Why don't you sell it, make some money off of it, and get something else? Turnaround. Don't leave the same stuff sitting there until dust collects on top of it, and the same stuff sitting there a year later. Because I noticed a whole lot of things that are in there that were there the last time I was here a year ago. And they're not going to sell for the prices that they have on them, unless you have someone who totally doesn't know. But in today's world, if you have one of these, you can know really fast. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. I've had good luck at this particular one. Really good luck. So keep your fingers crossed. Maybe we'll find something. All right, we're getting ready to pull in the parking lot here to the next adventure. We're going to see what we can find. Arrived. Thank you. I realize that. Hopefully, we'll find something in here. I usually always do, but you just never know. The guy from the other store may have come up here and bought all their stuff too and took it to his store. I don't know. All right, we're back. Or I'm back. You may have already left. You may be gone already. You might be eating a sandwich, drinking a Coke, whatever, but I'm back. I did find a few things in here. Sadly, I don't know how, let me say this right. Hopefully you don't hear that. I need some AC blowing in here. I found a couple of reels that I would have bought just like that, even at the price they wanted for them. But again, I found a place where it says greased and oiled. And greased and oiled is frightening to me, because that means that somebody's taken it apart. And if somebody's taken it apart, there's a good possibility they didn't put it back right. There was a couple of reels that I found. I found an Abimatic 140. Wanted $32.99 for it. It looked spotless, but there was something just not right about it. Something was like missing, just didn't act right. The drag didn't want to work at all. Now these have the dial drags on the sides and the releases. It's technical, a little bit of a technical reel. If you don't put that back together right, well, good possibility it's never going to get put back together right unless somebody like myself buys it, or somebody, a repair guy, or somebody that puts it back the way it was. But they wanted $32.99 for it, so $33 for a reel that wasn't acting just right. And then I noticed that the dust cap between the crank arm and the crank shaft housing was missing. Okay, well, that's probably not a hard part to find, but it just worries me when things aren't put back together correctly. I also found what was considered never fished with, a big, huge Johnson Sabra 130. Well, it seemed to be okay until I took it apart and looked in the bottom of the plastic housing, and there's a washer laying down there. A spring-loaded, one of the U-shaped washers laying in the bottom of the cap. Okay, again, you've put something back together either wrong, or that's to a different reel, or whatever. Do yourself a favor, if you're selling these things and you don't really know what you're doing, don't take them apart. Sell them as is, like they are, because you could end up selling something to somebody that's broken or missing pieces or whatever, and you didn't put it back together correctly, and you're charging a big price for something that you haven't done right. But as I looked around, I found a couple more things that I liked. I found one that was oddly unique to me, an Atlas Compac. Now, when I first looked at it, I said, well, look at it. It's got that anti-reverse switch, very similar to that of a Johnson. Everything works. The bail works really well. It's a little thick, but I can see oil coming out around the edges. So who knows how long that's been in there. The anti-reverse does turn, and it does operate. It's funny though, it makes more noise in forward than it does in reverse. I don't understand, but we'll worry about that later. But the anti-reverse does work, clicks into place. What I liked about it was how small it was. It's teeny tiny. Made in Japan. Didn't see too much about them, but I did see that they run about 25 bucks. I ended up getting this one for 17. So the guy had some sale going on in his, but it looks cool. It's just tiny. I think I'm going to have fun tearing this one apart, looking into it and getting it to work correctly and taking it out and catching a fish or 5 with it. So anyway, we did get something. Now let's get some lunch, and then we're going to head to the motorcycle shop. Well, I just pulled through the McDonald's drive-thru, and I'm hoping I don't regret that, because I'll be honest with you, I haven't ate at McDonald's in probably 15 years. But I figured I'd go for a fish fillet combo. Maybe that wouldn't hurt me. Well, my fish fillet wasn't bad. My fries were really good. Sweet tea's pretty good, but I'll tell you what, you can't beat McDonald's fries when they're good and hot. Now, here I am where I need to be.
The destination is on your right. Arrive.
I can see it. I don't know how to park or where to park. But I'll park like this. I guess I'll be all right. Anyway, gonna go inside. Gonna take a look around. Gonna see what I can see. Okay, it's about an hour later, and I just got...
In 800 feet, turn right onto Thole Street.
You not hear me talking? It's an hour later, and I just came out of the salesman's place, and there we talked quite a bit. We had a lot in common. Everything from fishing to hunting to you name it. So, needless to say, he's got the bike, and I just got to figure out a way to get rid of that Himalayan.
Turn right onto Thole Street. Then take the first right onto Tidewater Drive.
That's going to go on the entire time because I'm trying to get home without getting on the interstate because the traffic is terrible. So we're going to be taking the long way. Sometimes when you think things can't get any worse, you end up on the side of the interstate. And I'm on the side of the interstate. Not so sure, but I think Bert may have just spit the transmission. I'm just letting him sit here. The transmission temperature light came on and she started jumping out of gear or something terrible. So I don't know what's going on. So here I sit. I'll let you know more when I know more. So I've been sitting on the side of the interstate now for probably the better part of 45 minutes after I finally got through to the insurance people to get a tow truck out here. This is what I've been looking at. Nothing but traffic. And car does move, but when you put it in gear, it slams through everything in there. It's transmission's toast. And you know, while I had time, I just figured I'd sit here and look to see what they cost. And a transmission costs as much as what I have in the car right now. Not to mention, you've got to pay someone else to put it in because I don't have the means in my driveway to get this thing up high enough to be able to do that. So here we are, back home. Got Bert in the driveway. Something is very wrong. I don't know if the transmission exploded or the rear end exploded or the rear end exploded exploding the transmission. I don't know. When you roll it, it acts like it's either stuck in gear and gear pieces are everywhere, or the rear end broke into pieces and got wedged in between. I think it's the transmission. Either way, it's a super expensive fix, and he's just gonna have to sit there for a while. So I celebrated my day by going to Dairy Queen and getting me a cheeseburger. Anyway, we got this little fishing reel, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't really seem all that important, but has to be done. The Atlas Compac, very cool little reel. I'm very interested in seeing what it looks like inside. So why don't we just take it down to the table here and tear into this old boy and see what it's got to show us. All right, we'll go for the typical first. We'll just take this little nut off here. Actually doesn't come all the way off. That's pretty nifty. Gotta get that line off of there. Got some old grease on there. That'll clean up pretty easy. Let's get this crank arm off of here. I'm pretty sure that's gonna turn one way or the other, I'm sure. There we go. I don't see any bushings or any washers or anything that looks like it might fall off. Always fun digging into these things you've never seen before, because you just don't never know what you're going to find. Wow, that's a lot more technical in there than I thought it was. This is aluminum. Be careful with that so don't get messed up. Yeah, there's a lot more technical stuff in there than I thought. Now the question is, which pieces do you actually take apart and take off? Let's go with, let me get a bigger screwdriver just in case if those are brass, I don't want to mess them up. And we can cross our fingers and hope that they unscrew. Yeah, did that unscrew? Reverse thread, okay. Let's see if this one's reverse as well. Nope, that one is not. Okay, so you have to know which screw goes where, because this unscrews in the normal fashion. This is a reverse thread. All right, let's get this arm out of here. All right, do we have washers and all that jive? Oh, yeah, we got a washer. See, you don't never know. And so we don't lose it. We'll put it right there. Oh, there's two. Looks like that's the only washers. Okay, I'm taking a look at everything here. Want to make sure I get everything right. Oh, there we go. I was a little scared there for just a moment. That little screw did not want to come out. Is that a washer? It is. Now we should be able to pull this gear right on out, or this shaft will come right out of there. Let's take a look at this then. That's got to go in with the hole further upward, facing up that way. There is no washer under there. This should come right up. Well, at least I would have thought. Alright, so I have got it cleaned up as best I could do. I got some scraping I got to do here because I could not get this off. I wasn't sure how it came off. It doesn't obviously pop off. It probably threads, but it is so stuck that I was very worried about stripping it with the gear being in it, trying to turn it to get it off of there, and I don't see any other way for it to come off. Let's put this nut back on the top because I can't get that to come loose, so we'll just put that back on there. And let's make sure there's not a flat side, and we'll get our little ratchet to tighten her back up again. She still makes plenty of noise. So let's go back now with Mr. Crank Gear. think what needs to happen is I need to get this off of here. So even if it gets broken tonight, that needs to come off or it's just not going to work right. So if it screws on there, it should unscrew off the same way. And there it goes. Now why did it work that time? And I fought with I fought craziness with it. It's got bearings under there. Alright, so I'm glad that came off. That is a bearing. Here we have a washer for the runner. Let's get this crank back off of here. Get this gear back out. Alright, let me go clean this back up again and maybe we'll get this thing back together again. It seems that this washer has two sides. It seems to have a copper side and a steel side. I'm putting the copper side down because I didn't know if the steel being against the body here would react and create a rust or something, so I'm going to go that route even though I don't know. Don't know what that's all about. This is a bearing that I am just going to absolutely douse in oil because it is made out of some kind of cardboard. That's the best I can figure. And then that goes on top of there, and these two washers are two different sizes. The bottom washer is a larger washer that fits down all the way, and then this is a smaller hole in the center there that only goes a certain distance because of the way that the gearing is made. And then this guy screws on there. You're going to just leave a little bit of slack. That's really all you need because you do want it to move. Snug that. Still makes noise no matter what. Not sure what the noise is. It's probably that bearing that really is dry and the wheels aren't spinning. Hopefully that will break apart and eventually allow it to turn freely because those bearings were just kind of sitting in there. Alright, got the spool all cleaned up, getting ready to put it back on. However it goes back on. Alright, we're doing the thing because if I don't do the thing, I may not do the thing, and the thing I might do might require me to have to patch a hole in the wall. It's been one of them days, I'll tell you right now. So we are doing the thing. It has not been easy to do the thing today. The other day I was asked one of the questions that I didn't get a chance to answer. I should have, which I'm almost glad I didn't now because things would have changed drastically. I was asked about an update on Bert. Well, up until about 4 hours ago, Bert was doing fine. At this point, I still don't know what's wrong. I don't know if it's transmission or rear end. When we were putting it up on the flatbed, the rear end was popping. So either the rear end went to pieces and then took the transmission with it, or maybe it's just the transmission, or maybe it's just the rear end. Until we get it up in the air and figure out what's going on, you know. But I'm not the kind of person that takes stuff apart and doesn't have anything to fix it with. Now I know I've got to take it apart to figure out what the problem is, but at this point it'd be stupid to take it apart and just leave it sitting there because I have to get the money to fix it first, and then I'll start tearing stuff apart when I got a little bit of money saved up, and we can get it right and figure out where it is. Because if it's transmission, I can't do that in the driveway. As a matter of fact, I can't do the rear end in the driveway either, because you got to get that right. That's got to be spaced correctly. Then you got to pull the axles and make sure it didn't tear the axles up in the process. And basically, I'm going to have a whole lot more tied up in a car that's only worth a little bit, financially speaking, is blue book speaking, I guess you'd say. But we just have to get around to that when the time comes. As you can tell, I'm sorry, I'm not real thrilled right now. Usually I'm a lot more thrilled to be doing the thing, but not this time. So anyway, we have an Atlas Compac. This is a unique reel, and it definitely requires grease. That made a big difference on the gearing and its spinning. I'm not going to tell you it's the smoothest thing I've ever dealt with, but it does have a bearing in there that's very odd, and I think that's going to take some time to break the little balls loose that are sitting in there, because it's almost a it's not cardboard, but it's, you know, it's like gasket material with balls in it. It's kind of odd, but this is a Japanese made reel. I don't know the time frame. It seems like it could do okay because it does work. And it's so tiny. I mean, it's so teeny tiny. And you didn't see a lot of teeny tiny in this time frame. So I think it's going to be fun to take out there and use. It's very, I don't know, falls into that category of Shakespeare 2052, or of even that Fury, Diamond Fury 150. So, does it work? Yes, it does. Is it the best working one I've ever had? No, but it does work and it seems to be okay. We'll put some line on it. I might put some 4-pound line on that little thing. Probably put some 4-pound line on it, and we'll take it out and see what we can do with it. Catch a fish or 5 or 7 or 12 and just have some fun with it. Now, let's talk real quick about the giveaway. If this video came out when I wanted it to, which would have been tomorrow, which is Sunday, which today is Saturday, I'm hoping that me and Evan can get up early Sunday morning and edit this thing and at least get it out there to you guys. Today, if this video came out on Sunday, is the last day that we'll be taking any entries in any way, shape, or form on the Johnson 45th anniversary. Come Monday morning, Evan is going to go down the list of comments from that video, take all the people that are legitimately on there that say they wanted to be part of that. We will write it down, cut it, throw it in the hat. The hat will be mixed up. How about we go with next Sunday? Let's make you wait just a little bit. If everything goes right, next Sunday, we will know the winner. If that changes, make sure you watch on Wednesday, because I could possibly do it on Wednesday. It just depends. I got a lot of tools to put away. So anyway, hey, it's been a rough day. I'll be honest with you. It takes a lot to whoop me. But today, I'm glad that it didn't happen in the tunnel. Wow, would that have been an absolute nightmare? Very glad that that didn't happen. I made it out of the tunnel about 1.5 miles before it decided it had had enough. And it's funny, it's when I let off the gas. I let off the gas to slow down because the traffic was merging, because it was going down from 3 lanes to 2, and when I let off the gas, that's when it bunga, 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 and then I was like, what was that? And then when people started to speed back up again, since everybody had merged in, when I hit the gas, and I didn't hit the gas, I just pressed the gas to catch up and go, it was over. It was over. So anyway, an ugly day. We got a neat little fishing reel. Got to see a lot of cool stuff. But be honest with you, I would rather have Bert back in one piece than to be sitting in my driveway right now, hurt, messed up, and we got to figure out what's wrong with him. And then I've got to sell a kidney or something and get him fixed. So anyway, hey, thank you guys for watching. I don't know if I can say I hope you enjoyed this video, but I hope this video at least kept your attention. And we will see you on the next one, whatever the next one may be. Hey, boo, I shouldn't have ate that cheeseburger from Dairy Queen. I'm regretting it big time right now. Feeling bad, not feeling good at all. On top of everything else, I don't feel good. Indigestion, need some Tums, Prilosec, Pepsi, whatever it takes, I need it.